Thank you very much for that. Last week, NME, the rock music Bible, described PJ Harvey as one of the greatest songwriters in the world, unlike any lyricist ever. She's won a Mercury Prize, been nominated for countless Brit Awards and Grammys, and is the kind of singer who inspires huge respect from her peers and immense loyalty from fans. Polly Harvey grew up on a farm in Dorset. So when she came into the studio a little bit earlier, I began by asking her if there is a distinctive English strain to her music.
It's very hard to answer that, I think. I feel very English in that I feel that this is my country. I belong here. I don't feel I belong anywhere else. And yet I'm also really aware that over hundreds of thousands of years we've come from all over the place. So just how English am I, and what does England mean anyway? You know, so I know that the music that I make is definitely formed out of the landscape that I've grown up in and the history of this nation.
Sure, but you were brought up, I think your parents were very into blues and rock and so on, so you had a lot of the American influences from early on.
Yes, pretty much only American influences, although they listened a lot to the Rolling Stones as well. Yeah. But mostly we were listening to Bob Dylan, Howlin' Wolf, the really old blues artists like John Lee Hooker. Yeah. That's kind of what I grew up on, and Captain Beefheart.
The great Captain of Beefheart.
Yes.
Yeah. And almost every time you've produced a sort of major album, you've changed your style again. This seems to be something that's kind of really important to you, that you quite quickly get bored with one way of making music and move on.
Definitely. I've always felt that my biggest fear would be to just replicate something I've done before because I know I can do it and it feels safe. And so I almost purposefully force myself into a very different set of rules that I apply before I make the next record. I know what I've done, it's over there, I'm not doing any of that again, and I slowly form a way of where I am heading next.
We're going to be hearing a song later on with this extraordinary looking instrument. Tell us a little bit about what you're playing.
This is actually a very simple instrument that many people may have played in primary school.
Oh,
it's called an auto harp, and I first played one in primary school because you literally just press a button and strum, and you've got all your chords formed. But I've written about half of my new record on one of these, and I've got 3 auto harps, and I've had them tuned in slightly different chord fixtures here, so that they're slightly out of the normal line of what an auto harp would sound like. There's a lot more minor keys, a lot of darker keys on here.
Yeah, yeah. And the new song is a sort of hymn to England. Tell us a little bit about it.
Very much so. I think that the next body of work, it's an example of the whole album, really, and that I was looking outwards a lot more. I think a lot of my work has often been about the interior, the emotional, what happens inside oneself. And this time I've been just looking out, so it's not only to do with taking a look at England, but taking a look at the world and what's happening in the current day world affairs, but always trying to come from the human point of view, because I don't feel qualified to sing from a political standpoint, because I feel like unless I knew every single aspect of what's going on, I can't speak about it, because my information is not like the information that people have that are dealing with this on a day-to-day basis.
As a non-political person, do you just regard the election campaign with some bemusement, or do you take quite a lot of interest? You're enjoying it?
I'm not a non-political person. I'm very interested in politics and follow it avidly. But I don't feel that it's my place as a songwriter to bring politics into my songs, other than what I was saying about from the way it affects human beings. So I sing as a human being affected by the politics, and that for me is a more successful way in song, because I so often feel like with a lot of protest music I feel like I'm being preached to a lot of the time, and I don't want that.
Well, as a human you'll be playing, as humans we'll be listening. PJ Harvey, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
We'll be hearing you later on. Polly Harvey there. Now it's just 8